Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Week 6 NFL Picks here on my Steve K channel. Now, I apologize for not doing Week 5 because of the fact that I was wrapped up with doing a couple other videos and stuff on my channel, and I just didn't get to doing Week 5. But oh well, I can go over Week 5 if you want me to. I know some people know what happened with the games, but anyway, the Ravens, as you see by the shirt. Oops, I dropped my PS4 controller. Sorry about that, as I was playing a little baseball game of MLB The Show 17. I know some people are not big on that game, but all right. Anyway, the Ravens were successful over the Oakland Raiders by a score of 30-17, which was great because I was originally going to pick them because I was going to say with here I go again, not David Carr, Derek Carr. With him being out for the Raiders, it would have been a tough you know game for them to win, and it was. So the Ravens were successful once again. We had a bunch of other good games. The Packers beat the Cowboys 35-31. The Vikings beat the Bears 20-17 on Monday Night Football. The Jaguars beat the Steelers 30-9, and that puts the Ravens and the Steelers in a tie for first place in the AFC North. The Jets beat the Browns 17-14. The Browns are still without a win. The Chargers picked up their very first win, 27-22 over the Giants, who are also, don't have a win. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Bills 20-16. You can call this like a recap if you want, but I'm just doing it just this way. The Dolphins beat the Titans 16-10. Eagles over the Cardinals 34-7. Chiefs over the Texans 42-34. The Seahawks over the Rams 16-10. And Colts over 49ers in overtime. 26-23. And the Patriots over the Buccaneers in a very close game on Thursday Night Football, 19-14. And now let's get into Week 6. All right, so our first matchup is between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Carolina Panthers on Thursday Night Football. Hold on a second here. I'm just trying to do this on the NFL website, if that's possible. Even though I don't stream these, like on Google Plus or anything like that. Just trying like something different to do on here. All right, here we go. Okay, so once again, that's our first game. This should be a pretty good matchup with these two teams. Both of these teams are 4-1, but my pick in this one, between these two teams, is really the home team, and that's the Panthers. I have nothing against the Eagles. Torrey Smith is playing really good for them. Still miss him on the Ravens. Cam Newton is a great quarterback, but that whole little thing, with him and that reporter or something, I'm not even paying attention to it. Just, let him just play the game and just do what he does. So, says a high of 84 degrees and rain showers, possibly. Don't think it would affect it, though. We did have a rain out. It was between the Bears and the Packers, I believe. And they had a storm going on, so they had to, cancel the game for a little bit. But anyway, this should be a pretty close game, though. But like I said, I'm picking the Panthers over this one. I'll say 33-27, because it should be a pretty close game. Maybe even closer than that, you never know. Now, next one we have is the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans in Houston. Like I said before, Cleveland Browns are winless, still looking for a win, and the Texans have a record of 2-3. I'm not sure about their player J.J. Watt because I heard he got an injury or something. I don't know if he's going to be out or if he's going to start or whatever. I haven't seen the injury report. But nothing much to say about the Cleveland Browns just because I don't see them, winning this game against the Texans. I think the Texans are just going to get the victory over them. Don't think it's going to be that close, though. I'm going to say 28-17, the final score for this one. Then we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Two teams that Brett Favre played for. I say that because, yes, he was a Viking as well and a Jet, even though people weren't big on him when he was a Jet. But Packers are 4-1, and of course that's the team he played for mostly. But he was actually drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. Brett Favre was, and he played for the Vikings like after the Jets. Packers are 4-1, and the Vikings are 3-2, and this game is in Minnesota. And I think this would be a pretty good matchup. It's Aaron Rodgers and I believe Sam Bradford for the Vikings. And I am pretty much set on the Packers winning this one because I like their chances more of the Vikings winning. I mean, it could be a really close game. I definitely think it could. But I think once again that Aaron Rodgers, as my friend Tim McClellan says, he's a bad man. Probably not the way that he says that, but still, I'm definitely choosing the Packers over the Vikings. Packers 27 and Vikings 24. I think it could be, that pretty close like that. Then we have the Detroit Lions taking on the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans in the Superdome. Yeah, Superdome. And I think the Lions are going to win this one over the Saints. I mean, not much, a whole lot to say about this. The Lions come off a loss, I believe. I don't remember who it was exactly, but I think they lost 2 straight, but I really don't know. But Saints could put up a pretty good fight against them, but I'm choosing the Lions over the Saints in this one. Final score, Lions 26 and Saints 20. Seems like a reasonable score to me. Then we have the Miami Dolphins taking on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. The Dolphins come off their win against the Titans, and the Falcons come off a bye. The Dolphins are kind of, in my opinion, missing Ryan Tannehill. I almost said Jay Cutler, who is their quarterback. He should have stayed retired. That is my honest opinion, and I say that because it's the doggone truth to me. Although with the injury to Tannehill, it kind of costs them, and they really should have him back in the lineup. But because of the injury, and they had to sign Jay Cutler, but I'm going to admit it's a better choice than signing Kaepernick. But yeah. But I think the Falcons are going to get the victory in this. Matt Ryan is too good of a quarterback than Jay Cutler, and I think this is going to be a pretty big game. I think the Falcons will win 33-20. Next one is the New England Patriots and the New Jersey York Jets. The Jets are 3-2, one game over 500, which is a surprise, and the Patriots are 3-2, which could be a surprise to some people because they probably would think they'd be maybe 3-0 or 4-0 at this time, but not really. I mean, injuries cost them, and bad playing from offense or defense, can do that too. But the Jets, have been doing pretty well. I mean, a lot of people thought they'd be starting 0-4, 0-5 maybe. But this, unfortunately, I would like to call this game an upset pick, but I've done this before, but when I said the Jets will win over the Patriots, but unfortunately I don't see this happening in this one. I think the Patriots are going to just win again and just get the victory over the Jets. Final score 33-23. Then the next one, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Washington Redskins in Landover. Because they don't play in Washington, D.C., they play in Landover, Maryland. That's kind of like near D.C., maybe about 30 minutes or so away. I don't know exactly. But the Redskins are 2-2, and the 49ers are 0-5. They're still looking to get their first win. But, however, I don't see it happening yet. I mean, they'll get their first win one day, but I don't know when or what team it'll be against. But I just don't see this as them getting a victory over the Redskins. I think the Redskins will win this 26-17. And that brings us to our next matchup, and that is, of course, the Chicago Bears against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. The Bears are 1-4, They only have one win, and they went to their other quarterback to start for them on Monday Night Football, and he did pretty well, but it wasn't enough for them to get the win. They lost by like 3 points or so. And the Ravens come off their big win against the Oakland Raiders, 30-17. The biggest amount of points that the Ravens have scored, with all these injuries. Joe Flacco did not have one touchdown pass, but the good thing was that he had 0 interceptions, and that breaks his streak of like 20, or not 20, 10 consecutive games or something with an interception. He starts off the first game with a huge pass to Mike Wallace for like over 50 yards, and a bunch of others to Macklin and a couple others, and the defense played pretty well too. Did give up some touchdowns, but still, the Ravens made it 14-0 in the first quarter following a rushing touchdown from Terrence West, who suffered an injury in the game. Don't know, though, if he'd be ready for the game on Sunday, But hopefully, he'll be healthy and be able to play, as for the other players, too, because it looked pretty serious. It looked like his Achilles at first, but just hopefully, he'll be all right. And I think this would be a pretty good matchup. I mean, I'm trying to think like the last time we faced the Bears. I think it was in Chicago. I don't really remember exactly, but this definitely should be a good matchup. But I am, of course, picking the Ravens over the Bears. I mean, even though I seem to do that a lot, but still, definitely, once again, think it should be a good matchup. Ravens over the Bears. Final score, 23-16. 23-16. And now we move on to our 4 o'clock matchups. And the first one is, as I belch, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Arizona Cardinals. For some reason here, the website's not showing me the scores on here. Let me try this again. Well, okay, I can't really get it up. All right, so Buccaneers and Cardinals. Both of these teams, I believe, I forgot if the Cardinals got a win or so. I can't remember. Well, this should be a pretty close matchup. There's the standings now: 2-2 for the Buccaneers and 2-3 for the Cardinals. Some people say that Carson Palmer should retire. I mean, this could be his last season. Don't really know, but he still is playing pretty well. But I think the Buccaneers are going to get the victory in this one over the Cardinals. Buccaneers 26 and Cardinals 20. Then we have the LA Rams taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Both teams are 3-2. And I mean, this actually is going to be a pretty close matchup, I think, because just the Jaguars come off their win against the Steelers, and the Rams, I'm not sure if they had a bye week or if they had a win or a loss. I don't really know. I didn't really check the scores that much, but sorry. But I think this is going to be a close matchup, and I think it's going to come down to a field goal, and I think that the Rams are going to get this over the Jaguars. 26-23. I think it's going to come down to one of them things. Then the next one we have is the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. Now, this should be another pretty good matchup. The Steelers are looking to get a victory after coming off their loss against the Jaguars, and the Chiefs hope to continue their perfect season by getting a win over the Steelers, as the last game they won, which I believe was the Texans, or whatever team it was they played. And I see this as a victory for the Chiefs to continue and go 6-0 against the Steelers and get this win against the Steelers. You know what I mean by that. So, yeah, definitely picking Chiefs over the Steelers. Should be a good matchup, though, but I think it'll go in favor to them. Chiefs 27 and Steelers 24. Pretty close matchup, I think. Then we have the LA Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders have a record of 2-3, and the Chargers are only 1-4. They got their first win against the Giants, and the Raiders come off their loss against the Ravens. I think the Raiders are going to rebound and get the victory. E.J. Manuel did pretty well for them against the Ravens, and Phillip Rivers is the veteran quarterback, as you know, but I still think the Raiders will get this victory for them and get the victory over the Chargers by a score of 28-22. And then we have our Sunday night football matchup between the 0-5 New York, Jersey, Eli Manning and his Giants, and the Denver Broncos. Broncos are 3-1, by the way, and the Giants could get a win one day, but people are saying that Ben McAdoo, the head coach of the Giants, I believe his name is, should be fired. It is a possibility, but don't know when. But there's a couple other coaches that probably should be fired. But again, I think it's going to be a pretty, not really a close matchup. I don't think it's a blowout either, but I think the Broncos will pull away with the victory over the Giants by a final score of 26-17. And that brings us to our Monday night football matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. The Titans did not have their quarterback Marcus Mariota against the Miami Dolphins, while the Colts are still without Andrew Luck. Don't know if he'll be ready for this game, though, but if he is, if both of them start, Andrew Luck and Marcus Mariota, that could be a pretty better matchup. But for right now, if Mariota starts this and Andrew Luck does not, my pick is the Titans over the Colts. But if Andrew Luck does start against the Titans and both of them start, it would be a pretty different matchup. But I think I would still pick the Titans. But it'd be a closer game if, Luck was starting. But anyway, my pick right now is Titans over the Colts by a final score of 26-18. And that's it. That wraps it up for Week 6 NFL picks. So, if you like this video, please hit the like button and comment if you have something to say about this. And once again, no negative stuff. And subscribe if you have not yet. And please do, because it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And you all take care. And thank you again for watching my Week 6 NFL picks.